I was working at the store today, and three old lady, or not, they weren't even that old, but probably at the very least 30s, maybe 40s, came into the store, and I left to go grab something out of my car, and I just hear them gossiping, and they're like so angry. When they ordered, they were pretty rude. Like we asked them what they like, if they want anything else, and they hit us with the no. Like every question we asked them, they just had to make it so much more than it was. It's just like run into those people. It just makes you think, like, how can you just act like that all the time? Like, are you not making your life harder on yourself? You take life so serious. Like I've had some rough days like everyone else, but I don't like walk around with it. I feel like that takes a lot of energy, and I feel like you have to commit that energy to feeling like that. I don't know, maybe I'm ignorant or something like that. Maybe I don't know what real rough days are, but it seems strange to me to walk around with so much malice just all the time. It's like the people that complain about being sad, but then their whole playlist is Daniel Caesar and Dominic Fike. Like, I don't know what you expect, bro. You need some Sade in your life. You need some Luther Vandross. Who else? Just listen to Kanye West. That's my real advice, to be honest. I don't know. I think it depends the type of person you are. I mean, I feel like I used to walk around like that. If I was in a bad mood, I just let it affect my whole day. Now, I'm not saying like if you're in a bad mood, just feel better, but it's like it takes another level. I don't even know what the level. Oh shit! Dude, I always get in these stupid fights in these dungeons. I feel like it takes just a whole nother level to just stay mad, like for no reason, and then I don't even want to say take it out on other people, but it's like low key taking it out on other people. Which, like, if you're just being rude to them, or even just if it's like a little rude, still it's kind of weird. But fuck other people, just think about it in your own self. You want to walk around with anger like that, like logical. I feel like when I'm angry, I probably snort a line and then drive on the highway, but wouldn't expect that of you. But seriously though, you know, a lot of people like that who just come into the store, treat us. I think it's very common for people to complain about being treated like they're not even human, but it's not even like that. It's not that bad. It's just they kind of just treat us like we're another pawn in their day, which is it's understandable. Like when I walk into class, I don't always look at everyone and be like, "Wow, I really value you." No, I mean it's just I get into class and I get out. I feel like if you take the moment to, I don't know, maybe you don't have to strike up a whole conversation, but if you just take the moment to really talk to someone, just ask them how their day was or something, just a random person. I feel like no one really does that anymore, or I know it's not as common as it used to be, because I've been working in different stores for a while. It's just not that common, or it's like more common just for people to ask like how's your day, and then they low-key don't even expect an answer. Like they'll be starting their next sentence when you say good, and how about you? They'll be already starting their next sentence, so they don't even answer the how about you because they're already on to telling you their order or something. It's interesting. Sure, it's like it's weird how conversations have been kind of ruined by like this. I don't know. I think it's an aspect you see in all over society where it's like a goal oriented. Like people are so goal oriented rather than like just being in the moment. I found it a lot when I was playing video games. Like we can take this RPG for example. I used to not even read the dialogue of the characters because I just wanted to get to the end and fight the bosses, and then I would get bored of the game because the fighting wasn't even that interesting. And then I realized, better games, this is not the greatest game ever made, but for better games, you're missing the whole point of the game if you just skip by the dialogue and skip the story. But I was so focused on getting to the end and beating the game, but that's not really what the game's about. The game's about the story it tells you, while incorporating the gameplay. What did I just clicked something. Big rubbing of the statue. But I don't know, I think you'll be able to find it a lot in your normal life. Like, I don't know, when you're walking somewhere. That was another big thing. That was something I realized in Europe. That when I walk around in my hometown, I don't notice anything. It's just like head down, maybe listening to music, getting to the destination, but you don't like look out for familiar faces or just take in what's around you. You don't do that. You just get to the final spot. I don't know, I think you can gain a lot if you don't do that. When I got into photography, that's something I noticed a lot, where it's when you're kind of looking for stuff, when you're actively looking for stuff, you start to like even realize it more in just your everyday. I don't know, it really makes life better in my opinion, at least a tiny bit, when you have more to appreciate than just like specific events. Like I think a lot of the stuff we appreciate is stuff that we were planning to appreciate. It sounds weird, but I think it's true. Like a birthday party. As a kid, you're always excited for your birthday party because it's something that you're supposed to be excited for. And like once it gets there, it's gonna be exciting. First of all, because like it can be fun or whatever you do for your birthday. But then also because like you were expecting it to be fun, but you don't expect your walk to be fun, or at least notable in any sense. I think it's the same thing with people going in to grab their food, they're just thinking about the end goal of grabbing their food, which is fine, I'm not criticizing it. It's very normal and we all do it. But like if you feel like your life's mundane, maybe you should like change the way you think about it. Instead of going into the store and just grabbing your food, maybe like, ask them how their day is, ask them how long they've been working there, something. Usually, not all the times, you can kind of suss out the vibe. A lot of times they're willing to talk, at least we are, over where I work. Kind of like to talk, it gives us a break from the job we're supposed to be doing. But not many people do it. Which is fine. Wouldn't most of the time. Or I don't most of the time. I don't know. I read a Dostoevsky book recently, kind of for class. And it was his short story, less known. It's Dream of a Ridiculous Man. And one of the quotes, I don't know if this is actually what it was supposed to mean, but it's like one of the last sentences in the book. It says like, I don't know it for bar, but he basically says, one of the main problems in life is that we value the knowledge of life over life, and we value the knowledge of happiness over happiness. And he says like this is what we must break through in order to live a better life or something like that. And I don't know if that's what he meant. Sometimes the wording's a little weird. He was Russian, so I don't know if it's translated correctly, but that's what I take from it. I think that's like very good lesson if you're able to really think in it. Something I always say about lessons, I feel like you can't really learn them from a book. You have to learn them yourself, and then you hear them in a book and you're like, oh yeah, no, that's true. How many times I've read something in a book and I've been like, okay, sure. Or like you hear a quote from your parents and you're like, okay, yeah, sure. And then like I actually kind of figure it out for myself when I'm thinking about something, and then that's when I really connect the dots and it really sinks in for me. So I don't expect someone to hear this and change their perspective on life, but something about learning to sorry, I'm trying to kill this guy. Like learning how to just live life without having to plan out every moment of your life, like living in the moment rather than preparing for your like future of the whole day. Like people that plan out their whole day, I feel like it works for some people. Also, like a certain life philosophy is not going to work for every person. Some people like planning out their whole day and it makes them happy. And for me, it would probably make me more productive. It would make my life feel so mundane if I was like, okay, at this time I'm gonna eat breakfast, and at this time I'll go to the store. Instead of like just doing what I want, going where like life takes me. If I want to go hang out with friends at one point, then I'll go hang out with friends. If I want to be by myself at one point, I'll be by myself. Like, how can you plan for your emotions throughout the day? What if I had to read that dialogue real quick? Don't really remember what it said, but I don't know. It was also something my like last breakup taught me, was because she was someone that like planned everything, overthought about everything, and I was like, and I was kind of the same way, and I was kind of breaking out of it already, but I realized how important it was to like. I feel like some people like plan the way they feel, like they see that they're gonna have a boring day, so they're like just prepare themselves for a boring day instead of like finding some good. It sounds so cliche, but really it like actually works for me. And I was someone that get scared about how bad my mental state was sometimes because I would feel it reclining. So I'm like not like a optimistic guy at all, and this should even worked for me. But you have to find it in yourself. I can't. No one's gonna be able to tell you how to do it. You have to somehow find a way to enjoy your everyday life. For me, it was going out and doing stuff, even if it's just going to the store by myself. Maybe like picking up a friend and driving around town. Like you can find something at any point in your life. It's just gotta be something. It used to be going out. It used to be like going outside helped me because I was always inside. And then I was always outside, so then just having time to myself inside helped me. It's gonna change. It's gonna be different, but you have to find something that like changes up your life. It's not just the same grind of either going to school and going home, or going to work and going home, or doing both and going home and then going to sleep. Gotta change it up. So sometimes it's the gym that helped me for a while. Not actually the gym, but like getting out, doing something, feeling accomplished. But that could be like rock climbing or going on a hike once a week or whenever you want to. But mainly what I'm saying is just like listen to how you feel, not to how like you're preparing yourself or how you want to feel. Kind of. I guess I kind of just went against what I said, but I mean like, I don't know, like Like there's something about like I just said go on a hike once a week, and then I corrected myself and said go on a hike like when you want to, when you feel like it, or when you feel like you need that experience. Sometimes you're feeling good and you don't need to go on a hike, and you don't want to go on a hike. So don't go, like you don't have to go out and do something when you're just feeling good what you're doing. Like you don't force yourself to do something. That's what I mean. Like you gotta like just listen to your or how you're feeling at the moment, and just go with it. You know, don't create rules for your life. Just live life. That's what I think Dostoevsky was saying. You know, people learn to live life through the rules that set out for them, instead of just living life for what life is. Life didn't come with rules on it. I think that's kind of like existentialist philosophy. Like, I'm not really sure. I wrote a whole paper on it, but it doesn't mean I know what it is. Let me actually look up the exact quote. The dream of a ridiculous man. It's a really good short story. It's only like 10 pages long. It's at the very last page. It says this, and yet it's an old truth which has been told and retold a billion times, but it has not formed part of our lives. The consciousness of life is higher than life. The knowledge of the laws of happiness is higher than happiness. That is what one must contend against. Must contend against the consciousness of life is higher than life. Which is what I'm saying, like, you know, again, what I'm saying might not be what he is saying, because, you know, they're a little bit confusing sometimes. Or it's not even confusing, but, you know, I don't really know what he was thinking. It's just how I take it. Gold Monkey is a session solver. Troggies, bro. Troggies is level 1 enemies, bro. I don't need to fight Troggies, man. No, but he says the consciousness of life is higher than life. I take this as like like contemplating life, overthinking life, you know, like the consciousness of it. Like it's kind of like overvaluing the philosophy of life, even. If you're always thinking about like what's the best way to live life, what's the meaning of life, sometimes I think it takes away from just living your life. Or at least I think that's what Dostoevsky's saying. I don't know exactly what the consciousness of life is. I think the one I usually use when I tell it to other people, or when I was trying to explain it in my essay, is the knowledge of the laws of happiness. That one speaks easier to me. I feel like that one's very obviously saying kind of. Is speaking more to. Sorry, I was reading the dialogue. The knowledge of the laws of happiness. So it's speaking more like you create these laws in your head of what will make me happy. Going to this party will make me happy, or eating this meal will make me happy. Hanging out with these friends will make. What's this? It's shiny. Hanging out with these friends will make me happy. Getting this item will make me happy. Instead of just like being that's actually a hard one. The knowledge of the laws of happiness is higher than happiness. Because I was gonna say rather than just being happy, but you know it's kind of a hard one. As in, let me just skip past this. It's kind of hard because the knowledge of the laws of happiness might make you happy if you're. But I think what he's saying is over focusing on them, focusing too much on what strict rules will bring you happiness, or what strict things will bring you happiness. Even what strict emotion is happiness. Like how even just being able to identify your emotion seems like kind of a seems like I don't think it's possible. Like who defines what an emotion is, or like what feeling refers to what emotion? I always thought that was kind of weird. Like if you feel good, it's not always happiness. Like sometimes you feel good and you cry. Like is that happiness? Sometimes you feel good and it's more just gratitude. I don't know. So I think it's just sometimes people will overvalue what they think will bring them happiness instead of just finding happiness in like just their everyday life. Or rather, maybe not even finding happiness, but just living life and letting it live, and just valuing stuff that comes to you and attributing happiness to maybe stuff that you wouldn't always attribute it to. I know that sounds weird, but when you eat a meal, for example, usually, at least for me, it's like, okay, I'm just eating. You know, I'm gonna get this meal, I'm gonna eat it, get it done. It's not like I don't value what's in front of me, like the meal I'm consuming. But when you really like, I don't know, just take a second to slow down and just value what you have in front of you rather than the knowledge of the laws of happiness. Holy yap fest. Dude, I'm so bad at putting my ideas into one piece. That's why I repeat stuff over and over again, because I know it doesn't make sense. So maybe if I repeat it like over and over again, eventually one of those things will make sense. Recording's already at 22 minutes. Okay, let me just hit the concluding thoughts, because I already forgot what I started out with. Did I start out with? I don't know. But what I want to end is just kind of trying to conclude my thoughts to make them sound at least like a bit like I had any idea of what I was trying to say. Because I kind of got thrown off by his wording of his quote. It always throws me off every time I looked back at it. It is kind of like the consciousness of life is bigger than life. Like I can attribute what I think saying, but I don't know if I'm right at all. Again, I think what he's saying is that we like overthink, because the guy in the story explains his life as being kind of like so mundane. Like, he doesn't feel anything. He just thinks kind of the world is all like pain and suffering, but he doesn't even feel like pain anymore. Basically, he kind of says like he can't. I don't know how to say this. He says he can't take his own life, even though he's been saying that he wants to for the past 2 months, but he says he can't do it because he's waiting for a time that he'll feel like enough new energy to be able to really do it. Like he wants to feel something when he does it, but he just hasn't felt anything in 2 months, so he hasn't done it. So that's kind of the guy we're messing with. Someone that just is like overthought life, and he's found out there is no meaning, life is just suffering. And then he goes through this whole transformation. He sees like the perfect world will look like, and this was his final conclusion. As he now wants to make like the world a better place, he has came to the conclusion that well, he came to different stuff too. This is just like the last sentence, or second to last sentence. Or no, actually third to last sentence. But the actual last sentence doesn't really matter. The last sentence is and I shall, well, and a shall period. If only everyone wants it, it can be arranged at once. Technically 2 sentences, but one was 3 words. If only everyone wants it, it can be arranged at once. That was kind of the philosophy at the time. I actually thought that was, well, you can see it in nihilist philosophy too, where they thought the world was kind of so simple that you could create a utopia if everyone just came to the same conclusion. That's a very rudimentary thought, or rudimentary explanation. But yeah, that's kind of what that sounds like. He says if only everyone wants it, it can be arranged at once. He's basically making the same conclusion, where if everyone comes to the same conclusion as him, then we could have a happy world, a world before the fall. But whatever, I'm trying to make a conclusion. What I'm trying to say, my conclusion, or wrapping up my thoughts rather, win this fight I didn't even mean to get into.
Aye, Captain.
Why does that sound like the dolphin laugh in the back? I just read another line. It says, and yet it's an old truth which has been told and retold a billion times, but it has not formed part of our lives. I don't feel like this is an old truth. I never hear anyone say this ever. I think it was something that I don't know how I realized it in my own life. I don't mean to be like, oh wow, I found the fucking true philosophy. But I mean, it was just something where I just learned to just be happy in everyday life. I don't feel like anyone else says to not value the knowledge of happiness over happiness. I don't know. Actually, maybe I've heard it before in different words. But for me, what it means, I haven't heard before. For me, it's telling. For me, Dostoevsky is saying that sometimes we overthink happiness and we overthink life. We think a new car will bring happiness, but really, just loving the stuff around you will bring you happiness. At my grandma's house, there used to be I always used to sleep in the same bedroom. She had the same house that she raised my mom in, and so it had multiple bedrooms. I used to stay in one of the bedrooms, whatever, and it still had the same picture hung up, and it was like a quilted picture. I don't know what you would call it. It had words stitched into it, and it was something basically talking about Thanksgiving, always give thanks or something like that. Very religious stuff, but I would read it every time I went in there. Obviously, didn't really mean much at the time, but it is something that will just make you so much happier if you just realize how blessed you are, all the time. Even if you think your life sucks, even if you think oh yeah, sure, you can say that. I grew up with a very good life, middle class, had friends, all that. But everyone can. Unless you're in a dungeon, whole family's dead, you're being tortured every day, maybe then you can't. But even if you're struggling for money, you can still think about how blessed you are to be alive. And if you're not alive, you can't. I don't know why I was about to say if you're not alive, you can't really give thanks if you're not alive. But there's a lot of bad situations you can be in, but you can still be thankful for some stuff, and it's hard. I won't tell you to do it. I don't care if you do it. Fuck that. Fuck if you want to be happy or you want to stay in a pit. It's up to you. But don't be in that pit. Think once I get out of the pit, then I'll be happy. Because maybe you'll never even realize when you're out of the pit. Or maybe when you get out of the pit, you're going to be thinking, okay, well, I'm out of the pit, but now once I get this house, then I'll be happy. You know, it's a never-ending cycle. It's the knowledge of happiness. You're overthinking happiness. You're too focused on thinking about what will make you happy instead of actually being happy. That's what I take Dostoevsky to mean. Don't know if that's what he actually meant. In the whole context of the story, I don't know if it really makes sense. I would have to think more about it, but yeah, that's basically my conclusion.